Hey everyone, I'm Jake. Welcome to Green World product training video, and the product in focus today is Chitosan. As you all know that in Green World, one of the primary aspect of our health that we focus on is detoxification of our internal system, and Chitosan is actually the number one product in terms of detoxifying our internal system. In today's video, I will explain in detail the relevance of Chitosan in the detoxification process, and I will also explain the right way of using it. So let's start the video right away with the first thing first. What is Chitosan? Chitosan is actually a substance which is derived from chitin. Chitin is derived from the exoskeleton, that is the outer shells of crabs or prawns or lobsters, and the word chitin is derived from Greek language, which means the envelope. So the outer shells of crab and lobsters is like an envelope, right? They are inside that envelope. That's why it's called chitin. And by using the proper extraction technique, chitosan is taken out from chitin by removing its acetylic groupings. And this process is called deacetylation. In a more simpler language, when you want to know the effectiveness of Chitosan capsule, all you have to understand is the degree of deacetylation. And the good news is that in the green world Chitosan capsule, the degree of deacetylation is 91%, because we use a very effective nanotechnology. Alright, so that was the basic definition of the word Chitosan, chitin and the deacetylation process. Now let's move on further with the video and understand the various health benefits and the properties of Chitosan. Starting with the number one slide, Chitosan is a bacteria killer. As you can read on the slide here, Chitosan is basically positively charged. So it binds bacteria whose membrane is negatively charged into a large mass. And Chitosan also has antimicrobial properties. Now, just for an additional information, before Chitosan was even introduced or used in the pharmaceutical industry, Chitosan was used for the purpose of purification of water and healing of burn wounds, because Chitosan is highly effective to bind the bacteria, toxins, impurities and even kill bacteria. Alright, now when I say that Chitosan is positively charged and the bacteria are negatively charged, so that's why they bind to each other. What does it mean? I simplify it for you with an example. You all must have at some point in time played with magnets. You know, whenever we bring two magnets together, sometimes they repel each other and move away. But sometimes when we change the side, it suddenly get attached to each other, correct? So that's what positive and negative charge mean. When you bring positive side of one magnet and the negative of other, they get attached. And same thing you must have seen when you change the batteries of even remote control of your TV or anything. There are positive and negative sides. So accordingly, we have to put the batteries on opposite side. That's when we get the current. So that's what positive charge and negative charge mean. And exactly that's what happens in case of Chitosan. When it goes inside our system as a supplement, its positive charge attracts the negative charge of the bacteria. It pulls them into a large mass and flushes it out of our system. Second important property of Chitosan is that it has antimicrobial properties. So basically there was a research which was conducted in which it was proved that Chitosan has the ability to create permeability of the outer membrane and the inner membrane of the bacteria called E. coli. I'm sure you must have heard about E. coli. A lot of people get the E. coli infection by eating raw eggs or impure eggs. So it's a very common infection but very dangerous. So coming back to the research, as per that research, Chitosan was successful at disrupting the membranes of the E. coli bacteria, and hence it was proved that it has very strong antimicrobial properties. Alright, now let's move on to the second slide. Chitosan is a colon cleanser. Chitosan improves healthy bowel movements, and Chitosan promotes growth and growth rate of beneficial flora or flora bacteria of large intestine. Now, as you all know, our eating habits have evolved so much over the years, over the centuries actually. And I mean, we all love eating cakes and pastries and donuts and muffins. And unfortunately, not all of us are blessed with the skills of baking. We can't bake it at home, so we have to rely on supermarket to get our cravings for these sweet things. Unfortunately, what happens is that anything that is available in the supermarket needs to have a shelf life, and to create that shelf life, there are certain chemicals which are added to them. The time the product is baked, it is packed, then transported, then put in the supermarket. By the time you reach there and get it home, there is a lapse of time, and during that lapse of time, a lot of chemical reactions happen in that product, and all those harmful chemicals and toxins goes into our intestines, which leads to the growth of harmful bacteria. That's why some people suffer from chronic constipation, which if not cured at the right time can lead to harmful conditions like colon cancer. And in that case, Chitosan plays a very crucial role. Chitosan helps in creating the friendly environment in our intestine, which encourages the growth of good bacteria, and it stops the growth of harmful bacteria. Due to its positive charge, it has the ability to pulls out all the negatively charged toxins and bacteria and help your system to throw them out in the form of feces. And that is the foundation of detoxification process in our body. It starts in our gut, in our GI tract, small intestine and large intestine. That's why Chitosan is such a powerful tool of detoxification. Chitosan is a fat magnet. So as you can read that Chitosan fiber is positively charged, since lipid fats and bile acids all possess negative charges. There is a chemical bond between the two, and thus they attract naturally to one another. Chitosan soaks up anywhere from 6 to 10 times its weight in fat and oils, convert them into a form which the human body does not absorb. Basically, Chitosan binds the fats in the stomach itself and shuttles them straight to the digestive tract, and thus reducing the absorption of fat. Now the good part about Chitosan capsule from Green World is that when you take it half an hour before your meal, so it will help you absorb lesser fat content from that food itself. Alright, let me explain it to you why Chitosan is called a fat magnet. What is the science behind it? As you all know, these days you get so many fat burners over the counter or in the supplement stores. So how Chitosan is different or even better than those? Mainly those fat burners, they are a thermogenic agent. So what does it mean? It creates a mechanism called thermogenesis in our body, which means the increase in core body temperature. Because the active ingredient in most of these supplements are caffeine, some stimulants which create that increase in body temperature. I mean, that increase in body temperature can be created even by using a sauna belt or even going to steam and sauna, going to the gym, running. When we sweat, the core temperature increases. That is thermogenesis. So that is, it leads to burning of few calories, but it's not actually very effective at burning the stored body fat. In my humble opinion, all those fat burners are purely a waste of money, because they will not give you any result. On the contrary, they will give you conditions like high blood pressure and various other blood related problems, because they have so much stimulants and hidden pillars in them. Now, how Chitosan is better? To understand that, it's first very important to understand that what is this whole process of burning fat. So in our body, we have mainly two types of fats. One is subcutaneous fat and the other is visceral fat. These are the two places where mostly the fat is stored. Now, when I say subcutaneous fat, that is the actual fat that we can feel, which is right under our skin. When we hold our hand or any part of our body, we get that. If you have more subcutaneous fat, you get it more in your hand, and that's how people get obese, when the subcutaneous fat keeps on increasing. The other is the visceral fat. Now, visceral fat is basically the fat which is accumulated in the abdominal cavity of our body, mostly around our vital organs like intestine and liver. When I say liver, as you all know that liver plays a very crucial role in the metabolizing of fats by secretion of bile acids, and it is one of the most important function of liver. So in case of people, when they start accumulating more subcutaneous fat, it is also a clear sign that there is some impairment in the functioning of their liver, and that results from the excess amount of visceral fat. Means when their liver gets fatty, it is unable to help you in metabolization of fat. So that's where the role of Chitosan comes into play. As we discussed earlier, that Chitosan helps to bind all negatively charged fats and bacteria and toxins from our body. That's why Chitosan can help in eliminating that excess visceral fat from our liver, thereby enabling our liver to metabolize fat better, and slowly that's how the subcutaneous fat starts decreasing in your body. And that's how Chitosan helps in burning fat by enabling our own body to do that. So all of you who are planning to get rid of excess fat from your body, one thing I want to make very clear to you is that it's not a 1 month or 2 months process. You have to be patient with yourself and also with the supplement like Chitosan. You have to make it a part of your life, and gradually it's gonna help you achieve your fat loss goal. Alright, let's move on to the next slide now. Chitosan is a cancer fighter. It shifts the pH value to alkaline by 0.05 and destroy the soil for cancer cells. It helps in activating the lymph cells and optimizing their activity. It binds with toxins produced by the cancer cells and reduce the toxemia caused by cancer. So as we saw on the slide, it says that Chitosan destroys the soil for the cancer cells. So what does that mean? Basically, cancer cells thrive in the more acidic environment. So when our body is more acidic, it becomes ideal for cancer cells. And Chitosan helps to shift the alkaline balance of our body. It makes our body more alkaline and less acidic. In case of people who have cancer, cancer cells makes their body even more acidic because they produce a lot of lactic acid. So Chitosan can help shifting that acidic level back to alkaline, eliminating the toxins, and thereby helps in improving the cancer conditions. In addition to that, Chitosan also helps people who suffer from issues like acidity or acid reflux in a condition called gastroesophageal reflux disease, where you feel like everything is just coming up towards your throat. In that condition also, Chitosan helps by increasing the mucus development in the human stomach. Chitosan also helps in healing of stomach ulcers caused by over acidity. In fact, in today's time we are using Chitosan in the supplement form, but almost 200 years ago Chitosan was used as a healing agent for wounds and ulcers. Just by sprinkling Chitosan powder on top of wounds, it helped in healing it because of its hemostatic, healing, non-toxic and antimicrobial properties. Alright, let's now move on to the next slide. Chitosan is a sugar regulator. It binds the glucose in the stomach to slow down its absorption. It activates the B cells of pancreas for release of insulin. It even increases the sensitivity of insulin receptors of cell to better utilize glucose. As we all know that with the introduction of the whole fast food industry everywhere in North America, in Asia, in Africa, type 2 diabetes has become one of the major health concerns. And as you have seen on the slide, as per these properties of Chitosan, Chitosan becomes an important tool in case of people who have problem of type 2 diabetes or even the initial stages of insulin resistance. Regular use of Chitosan helps all those people suffering from type 2 diabetes to bring their sugar levels low and also increase the efficiency of their pancreas to release more insulin. Moving further to the next slide, Chitosan is a liver protector. Chitosan lowers plasma cholesterol and triglyceride levels, thus improves the HDL cholesterol, total cholesterol ratio, and it improves the fatty liver caused by dysfunction of cholesterol metabolism or alcoholism. As we discussed earlier also that about visceral fat. So in case of people who suffer from fatty liver, in fact a lot of people these days are suffering from this problem due to our eating habits, the toxins, the chemicals, the over usage of antibiotics and medications. Due to all those things, our liver takes the beating on a daily basis and gets fatty. And that fatty liver leads to so many other chronic problems or illnesses in our body. That's why we need to understand that as per our lifestyle in today's time, detoxification is very important, and that's why all of us need to detoxify with Chitosan at least once in 3 months. Now the big question is, who all need Chitosan? My very simple answer to that is we all need Chitosan. The kind of lifestyle that we all have in today's time. I mean, the food that is available to us, and we don't have much of a choice. We cannot start growing everything on our own because life is very busy. We have work to do and a lot of other commitments. We have to rely on supermarket, and the supermarket food, as you all know, is produced in mass production. Of course, quality standards are not as good as they used to be, and that's why all the toxins and chemicals, they find their way into our body. So we need something like a protection to at least deal with those things, and Chitosan is actually that protection. Everyone who needs detoxification and not allergic to seafood or shellfish. Yes, since Chitosan is made from the shells of crabs and lobsters and prawns, in that case, some people who suffer from shellfish allergy, they should avoid Chitosan because they will get some allergic reaction like skin rashes, or it could be even more severe. But my opinion, even in that case, is that if you take Chitosan and you get any kind of allergic reaction, Chitosan is actually exposing the weakness in your system, which means there's nothing wrong with Chitosan. There's something wrong in your system. Maybe a dysbiosis of your gut bacteria, the overgrowth of bad bacteria, which leads to all these allergic reactions to food. So it simply is telling you that you need detoxification. Maybe we need a different approach. Initially, in that cases, we should consider detoxifying only with in-cleansing tea and other green world product like Magic Detox Pad, Ganoderma plus capsules, Cordyceps. So it strengthens your immune system. And then later on, we can start testing with Chitosan as well. Moving further, now, people who have digestive problems, cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular problems, diseases, and obesity. So, in case of digestive problems, we often hear people have this one very common condition called constipation. So, in case of constipation, gastric ulcer, dyspepsia, Chitosan is the first choice that you need to have. It will definitely help you get rid of that serious constipation issue. People who suffer from this condition and they keep taking laxative. Laxative will definitely help you in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to only spoil your system even further. Please stop taking those laxative and switch to Chitosan. It will be a much better approach to permanently solve your problem of constipation. Then people with type 2 diabetes, those with elevated blood lipid and blood glucose levels. In case of obesity, people can take Chitosan. As I discussed, it's a gradual process. It will help in removing the visceral fat over your vital organs, which will eventually help your body to burn and metabolize fat better. In case of some liver disease like hepatitis, fatty liver, or liver condition caused by alcoholism, Chitosan is extremely beneficial. Then cardiovascular problem. For those with high blood pressure, high blood lipid and high blood viscosity, Chitosan is extremely important. Then for those with cancer, especially after chemotherapy or radiotherapy, Chitosan is going to be extremely beneficial because it will make your body environment more alkaline. Alright, let's now understand some of the guidelines on how to use Chitosan capsule. It's very simple, some precautions. Yes, pregnant and breastfeeding women are not recommended Chitosan, for it may interfere with fat soluble vitamin absorption. People taking blood thinners should avoid Chitosan or at least consult with their physician before starting the use of Chitosan. People allergic to seafood may avoid Chitosan, as I discussed about it earlier. Now, this is a very important instruction. People who take Chitosan for 3 consecutive weeks should supplement with vitamins, minerals and essential fatty acid because Chitosan is extremely strong, and that's why we always recommend on anyone who is doing detoxification with Chitosan to start using Green World spirulina because spirulina will provide with that nutrient support. Now let's talk about how to use Chitosan because the proper usage is very important. So it's fairly simple, 2 capsules each time, 2 times in a day, and take adequate amount of water. For weight control, basically you need to take Chitosan 30 minutes before meals and take 2 hours before or after taking other medication. It might interfere with your other medication, so make sure you create the gap of 2 hours. Now another important instruction here is drink adequate amount of water, otherwise it will worsen the condition of constipation. So if you want to get rid of that, drink more water when you're taking Chitosan. Alright guys, so that was all the information I had about Chitosan. I hope you all are enjoying and getting informed with all these training videos. If you have any questions or any doubts, you can always use the comment section and ask the question. I will make sure that I'll answer it. See you next time in the next training video. Bye.